and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Thank you, as always, to Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, for passing the baton. As always, thank you so much. So here we are. Happy Thursday to you, family. Happy Thursday. Thank you for joining us. We are always happy to spend time with you, Nick Steptoe and I. How's your week going? How has it gone thus far? I should say, are you really, really looking forward to this weekend? You really looking forward to it? Ready for the work week to end? I overstand if you are. I overstand. But, as you know, tomorrow is Founders Day, so I'm anxious about that. I cannot wait to see all of you. As a matter of fact, this Founders Day, we celebrate our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD, at the future home of Word, located at 3601 Haverford Avenue. I hope you'll join us tomorrow, Friday, August 18th, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. as we pay tribute to the man who founded Word 20 years ago. Listen to a panel discussion on equitable development. Stay informed as Solomon Jones leads a conversation on violence as a public health issue, and celebrate the contributions of Nick Taliaferro and the 2023 winners of the Community Impact Award, Mika Johnson, Reverend Andy Jenkins, Jasmine Smith, the Twin Sister Docs, and Word's own Troy Wilmore. You can also stand with Word Radio. Start or renew your Forward membership at the special Founders Day discounted rate of $80, y'all. Or you can start a digital membership. That is our 2023 Founders Day celebration, Friday, August 18th at the future home of Word, 3601 Haverford Avenue, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are Word, Progressive Black Talk Media. Founders Day 2023 is brought to you by Penn Medicine Cares, PA Lottery, Philadelphia Water Department, and SEPTA. I do hope I'm going to see you all there tomorrow, because I am so looking forward to it. I really mean that. So, family, if you are new to the show, what I like to do as we get started is a check-in, a little roll call. I see some of our family members are checking in already. Hey, family. Hey there. So if you are joining us on our socials, say hi. Just send us a little hello, if you will, because we love the love that you share. We always do. But you know that you can also call us, and you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And family, you already know what I'm about to say. I'm sending extra love and hugs to you today. If your light is shining a little dimly, I'm up and down today, especially to those of our family members who are navigating the loss of a loved one. I am sending my condolences and all of my love to the loved ones of Bobby Eli, a guitarist and one of the founding members of the MFSB Orchestra. He too gained his wings. Um, ugh, just so much detachment and loss. But I know they tell me that it's a part of life. Well, not only do they tell me, I do know by now. I realize it is a part of life. Family, to those of you who are simply listening, I definitely want to let you know that we feel your love as always. And it's always greatly appreciated. It's always. On the other end of the rainbow, I know we're in Leo season. I hear you lions out there roaring. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. I hope that you are celebrating like never before. And I hope that you're being celebrated in a grand way. I do want to check in on our socials. Like I said, some of our family members have been letting me know they are here and ready to join the conversation. Melissa, hey there, lady. Hey, beautiful. She shares good evening, everyone. Heather Wilson shares good evening, doll. Hi, doll, baby. I love it. I love it. Eric shares good evening, word family. Have a blessed, safe, prosperous, healthy day. Oh, I can't read. Nasir shares good evening, Sister Carol and Nick and guests. Peace and blessings. At the Dell, you're at the Dell. Oh, I'm so jealous. Let me tell you, I wanted to go to that show, but I just love you all so much. He is going to see CC Winans tonight, but you'll be there to see me next Thursday. You better let me know too. You better say hi to me. You better. I'm going to hold you to it, Brother Nasir. Cheryl, hey there, Cheryl. Cheryl is checking in. Cheryl Hicks Lucas. She shares good evening, beautiful. Well, good evening, beautiful to yourself. Good evening, you. Malcolm, hey there, watching and listening from Mount Airy. Good evening to you as well. Misty's here. Hey there. Hanging out with our family members, the Nixons, I was telling you about last night. I'm sending all of my love and extra hugs, as you know. I love you all. I do more than you will ever know. Joey Parham is checking in. Hey there, Joey. Happy Thursday. Where's my happy face? Well, I'm trying. I know I'm going in and out today, y'all. My light is flickering today. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. I'm flickering. Janine. Hey, Jay. How you doing? Missed you. Love you more. Harry Wims is checking in with us as well. Well, we got some things cooking this evening as always. And you know what? Okay, Harry, my cousin said that to me. So Harry says, I love your Betty Rubble laugh. That is hilarious to me because my cousin says that. He says that to me. That's the only other person I've ever heard say that. Thank you, Nasir. You better say hi. Family, I appreciate you checking in. I'm going to check in on our phone lines and see who is calling to talk with us as well. Hi there.
Hey, Carol, how you doing, honey?
Hey, Fred. How are you?
I'm okay. Just my legs hurting. Yeah, the doctor's injured my legs, so. But I'm okay. Then they say I got arthritis and stuff like that. But I'm okay. But I want to do something different tonight.
Okay.
I want to rhyme since it's the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and I'll make it brief. Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Okay. I just like to say, pick up on this. People get up, stomp your feet. Let's get down. Everybody get up. Our sex machine, I showing up for good. Let's dance. Brand new phone. Let's do it. Hold up. Wait a minute. It's getting hot in here. I'm about to take my clothes off. No, I ain't going to do that. Whole house freeze. Now I feel much better. Let's do it because I'm flying high on the feeling and I'm taking to the sky on a natural high. See, I'm zooming like the Commodores. That's when they told me that the town was yours. So get on up and get on down. Girl, shake your rump to the beat of my funk. Because the beat of my funk is the beat of your groove. It's the funky beat that makes your boogie body groove with all the joy and happiness. To say, bringing all the laughter. Everybody feeling good inside. Knowing that tomorrow is going to be a better way, making a brighter day so we can bring back what was meant to be. One nation under a groove. Everybody feeling happy and free because we like to see people having a good time and everybody happy.
Oh my God, Fred! You always lift my spirits. You really do. Thank you for that. Thank you. I hope. Wait. Will we see you tomorrow at Founders Day? I know you did say your legs.
I get a ride there.
Okay. Okay,
I would
well,
love to
okay.
see it too, though. Thank you anyway, honey.
No, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Y'all heard that, right? Y'all heard Friendly Fred set us off. Okay. He set it off. He put it in motion for us already. I love it. Janice, Jay said, okay, okay. I love it. Hey there, Mark. Mark Walker is joining us. Hey, Mark. So happy to have you here with us as well. So, family, y'all know how I am. Y'all know I'm on 10. Like I said, my light is fluctuating today. It's flickering, so I'm going up and down. But even still, I'm catering to the high of it all. That's where I'm going to stay. But what I do want to do is introduce you to our first guest tonight. You've met her before. She is no stranger to the show. CARLY ASARÜ is the creator of Lillian's Lush Organics, her own hair product company. She is a natural hair enthusiast and scientist with a BS in cell molecular biology. She's here to share with us about the mental aspect of hair loss. Family, I invite you to the conversation with CARLY ASARÜ. Hello, my beloved.
How are you?
I will not complain. Will not complain. Ain't no need, right? Ain't no need. So, CARLY, I know the last time you came, actually, the first time, I'll say the first time you came, we introduced everybody to your product, and we have some new family members joining us tonight. So I would love, love, love for you to share with everybody about your company, Lillian's Lush Organics. Can you start there for those who are unfamiliar, please?
Lillian's Lush Organics was started unknowingly 3 years ago when I was having my own hair care issues. It was more so started because I was having really bad scalp issues, which I won't say I still have to this day, but they still do show up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the fact that I was going back and forth to the dermatologist. They really couldn't give me. She was I finally found a black dermatologist thinking like, yes, she could help me, but it's only but so much pharmaceutical stuff on the market that she could prescribe for the actual issue.
Okay.
We were going through prescription after prescription. We were going up in percentages because that's what most of the topical things are for scalp issues. It's certain percentages. So let's say we started at 1%. She may have increased to 1.5 or 2%. And we would just keep going up, but nothing was really helping with the actual issue. So my issue is that I have within my scalp, which I have quite a few. I have seborrheic dermatitis, which is a step up from dandruff. Dandruff is kind of on the milder side. So most people know dandruff to be white flaking. When your scalp is really dry, it shows up in the colder months. Seborrheic dermatitis is an overgrowth of yeast, which can range from a different array of things. It can range from consuming dairy, alcohol consumption, sugar, those are like the top three, as well as just being a thing that you had. Like let's say you don't consume any of those things, but you still have it. It may be like an underlying health issue as well. I do know mine mostly is from dairy. I am a cheese lover, but I had to take and cut back on the cheese, the milk, and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's not great, no. But that was like the thing, and we were going back and forth. Basically, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but it's the sound your audio sounds a little I don't know the word to describe it. It might be.
Hold on.
Okay. Family, give us just one moment. We're trying to work through this sound issue. It sounds a little muffled. Thank you, Nick. I couldn't think. Let me tell you, I couldn't think it, but to save my life, it sounded a little muffled before. CARLY, could you say something for us? Oh, now you're muted.
Better?
Yes,
Okay.
That's so much better.
So, like I was saying, I was going back and forth. We had finally figured out what the issue is. Like she could part my hair, see my scales off the back, like literally part it. Nothing really had to be done. She would just touch my scalp, be like, yeah, I see what you're talking about, even after washing. So it was kind of like, okay, I'm spending, let's say the prescriptions, it was like per wash day almost. So it would be like shampoo and ointment, oil. And I'm like, this is becoming too much money. This is not sustainable, especially too right out of college, in college as well. It's not cost effective. So it was more of me going and seeing, okay, well, what can be the most cost effective, and which is how I kind of ended up being like creating Lillian's Lush Organics without even knowing. So my first thing was going and researching. So as you said, my background is in cell molecular bio. So it was like, okay, what is the root of this? What could be causing this? On the inside of the body as well as externally, for instance. It was kind of like I knew that in the winter, let's say, my flare-ups were a lot worse because the air is drier, all of that. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go back to the drawing board. So I wound up literally just researching. And Lillian's Lush Organics is based around Ayurvedic herbs, which are mainly just is exactly what an herb is. It's mostly stuff that comes straight from the earth instead of chemicals. So the oil that I created at the time is literally chemical free, it's cruelty free, literally vegan, it's handmade. I make it in my kitchen. And I literally started with a small batch of it on my parents' stove. And I was like, okay, with herbs, let's say again, what was the initial issue that I was having compared to what herbs will fix that issue, which is how I came up with a lot of the different herbs that I do use. So a lot of the herbs that I use are like amla powder, which is considered the Indian gooseberry. I use tulsi, which is considered a holy basil. So I use literally like a lot of things that come from the earth. So and a lot of those herbs that I do use, again, with seborrheic dermatitis deriving from an overgrowth of yeast, you want things that are antimicrobial, antifungal to kind of level the yeast. So in moderation, I mean, granted, we all have yeast on our skin, all of that kind of stuff, because it fights off different things. But an overgrowth of yeast is when the problems start, because again, it's not in moderation. It's not what's supposed to be there. It's basically my body was producing too much, which is where the scales and the itching and all of that comes from. I would before my product, I could literally scratch my scalp until it bleeds.
It would itch that. Oh, wow.
So again, that was why, again, it was like, okay, what can we do? And then also I had cut my hair at the time. So again, with the mental aspect of hair loss comes the mental aspect of having other things, like not even just hair loss, the mental aspect of, let's say, people with scalp psoriasis, people with seborrheic dermatitis, because if you have really bad plaquing, some people, it comes out onto like their hairline. I'm
sorry, what is plaquing?
So with psoriasis or seborrheic dermatitis wouldn't be considered really a plaquing, but basically it's like a white, it's almost, I won't even say it's like a film. So if you ever seen people with psoriasis, they normally have people of a lighter tone. They normally have like red, blotchy, like it literally looks like, can't even really explain it, but it's like almost like the skin is raised, so the skin is inflamed, and then it's like white on the top. And again, that tends to come out of their hairline. You can normally see it around their hairline. And for us, we're on the darker side. So by us being on the darker side, you really can see usually what's going on. And especially for seborrheic dermatitis, that really, the scalp is also inflamed, but you don't get the raising of the skin. So what tends to happen there is you can literally, I sometimes can, depending on if I flare really bad, you can take a comb and stick it under like a plaque of it and pull it up through the hair.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. So, you know what, I'm listening to you talk about a few different, I'm going to say skin conditions as it pertains to the scalp. Okay. How did they diagnose, you said you had, what is your condition again?
So I have seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff, and depending on the season, I can have a little bit of scalp eczema. But it's more so, and I tell my customers all the time, go to the doctor, like legit, go get seen. Like, yes, there are so many different remedies and things that we find. I feel like with social media and the internet now, we feel like we can cure some of our own things. But I say to get diagnosed first, because then you know what you're researching if you want to go the natural route. So that is why I was glad I did it that route at first, because again, now I know exactly what seborrheic dermatitis is. I know, let's say, what the scalp psoriasis is. I know what those things derive from, what they feed off of, all of those things. So then that was how I was able to go and create my own product based off of that issue.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Well, I mean, it didn't help. I mean, it didn't hurt that you also have a BS in cell molecular biology. That didn't hurt. Family, listen, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We're talking with CARLY ASARÜ. She is the founder, the owner, the CEO of Lillian's Lush Organics. We're talking about all things as it relates to and pertains to hair, our scalp, our skin. But we're going to take just a short commercial break right now. So stay with us because we'll be right back.
Struggling to pay your water or sewer bills? New Jersey's low-income household water assistance program can help you avoid service disruptions, restore services, pay reconnection fees, and stay up to date on payments. Don't get shut off. Apply for the low-income household water assistance program today. Call 211 or visit waterassistance.nj.gov.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Austin Center here, driver of the Discount Tire, number 2 Ford Mustang, and 2022 NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year. Having the right tire pressure on the racetrack is crucial to my success. Tire pressure is also critical to keeping you safe on the road. Whether it's for safe stopping distances in all seasons or getting the best gas mileage, you want to keep your vehicle's tires properly inflated. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
This is your celebration.
I'm Patricia Canella-Duckett from United Healthcare Community Plan, and I want to wish WURD a happy 20th anniversary. For those of you that do not know, WURD and United Healthcare Community Plan have a very long-standing history, and we'd love to continue the partnership and continue doing much work. Again, happy 20th anniversary. Thank you so much.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk Media. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with CARLY ASARÜ. She is the owner of Lillian's Lush Organics. And we're talking about hair care. We're talking about skin. We're talking about skin conditions as it pertains to our scalp, all kinds of things. Before we move forward, though, I do want to recognize some more of our family members checking in. Hi, Miss Lily. Hi there. She's joining us and she shares some love, sending a good evening wish to us all and the entire Word family. And my cousin, Sherry Riddick, she says, hi, Carol and CARLY. I just received my first order of your oil 2 days ago. I love that. All right, cuz. All right. Miss Rosalind is checking in as well. Hi there, Miss Rosalind. Hi, beautiful. She shares good evening, my queen. Oh, God bless you, queen. Producer, that's Nick. Word, Mrs. Sarah Lomax, family's guest, everybody, peace and love to you all. Hey there, Miss Joanne. She's joining us too. Hi there, Miss Joanne Dormond, sending her love to everybody. And what I want to do right now is go to our phone lines before we go back to our socials, because we have a family member waiting to join the conversation. Hi there.
Yes, Yusuf.
Yes. Hi, Yusuf. How are you?
Okay, I wanted to congratulate your guest for going to that herbal remedies. When she was saying she went to a dermatologist and she wound up with a dermatologist that really didn't want to do much, so she found another better dermatologist. Well, if she would have been better off, she would have went to a herbologist. You know, there are herbal doctors that will tell you straight from the door. They won't even go around the corners. They'll tell you straight from the door what your issue is. Dermatologists are medical doctors, and they kind of like, some of them don't really know. And may or may not be their fault, but most of them, you know, they're not herbologists. They don't do the plant-based thing. So they're only going by the medical, what they was taught in the medical world. A herbologist, they go by the plant-based thing, and they know that from the door, if your skin is flaking, if your hair is falling out, they know from the door just what is the reason why it's doing it. And when she's saying she was having problems with cheese and milk, okay, they got vegan cheese. You don't have to use that dairy cheese. Dairy comes from cows or goats. Dairy cheese comes from them, and milk too comes from cows, and then they have goat's milk. And all that stuff is not meant for human consumption. I'm saying, but the vegan, non-dairy, you know, beverages like almond cashew milk and hemp milk, that's meant for human consumption, and that will stop a lot of that, you know, stuff that is happening as far as your skin and your hair. Because I'm 67 years old and I still got a head full of hair. Okay, I got a bush, what they call a bush back in the day. A black bush. I don't have no hair problems. I have no skin flaking problems. I don't have no wrinkles. I had people tell me I look like I'm only in my 30s, and I'm 67 years old.
That's a blessing.
Because I do the vegan thing all my life. I don't know what it is to drink a glass of cow's milk. I don't know what it is to eat some dairy cheese.
So you've been vegan?
And it works well. It not only does it fill you up for your nutrition, it keeps you healthy. And then I do my exercises.
So Yusuf, so you've been, how long have you been a vegan? I'm sorry to interject, but I didn't want to.
All my life. I grew up in child welfare and they wouldn't give me nothing. They wouldn't feed us no meat. They called themselves punishing us. So when I would run my errands and go places, I would find dandelions. You know, dandelions are edible. And other edible flowers and other edible vegetation. And I started from there. And then I would make my little hustle, running errands and carrying groceries, and go to the grocery store and buy my vegetables and fruits. I didn't want their chitlins and pork chops. They could have that. They thought they were punishing us by not giving us that nonsense. I got my own. I didn't complain. When I was a child growing up, I got my own. I was more than happy that I did for myself. And I ran into a person whose child was getting sick. And her little girl kept getting sick from feeding her Similac and Gerber. And I went to the herbologist and said, what can I give to an infant that's similar to what I eat? The herbologist said the same thing. You can give them non-dairy milk. You can give them a non-GMO soy chili. So, you know, need stuff like, when I gave that baby that vegan stuff, I couldn't let the baby go. The baby clung to me for dear life.
And she got better.
Yes, she's grown now. And when she sees me, she runs up to me and thanks me.
What a story. What a story. Oh, you said, I mean, you told a whole lot of truths. You told nothing but truth. Thank you for sharing, sharing your story with us, because your story sounds incredible in and of itself. But you know what? I mean, I happen to agree with you as it pertains to living a healthy and natural lifestyle. I struggle because, of course, I eat some of the things that I should not, but I am in agreement with you. I am in agreement with you that it is so much better for us, and it is the right thing. It is the right thing. So, to your point, it is a good thing that CARLY went the route that she went, because look at where you are today. Here we are talking with you, and here I bought some of her product. I use it too. So here we are. Now we're all reaping the benefits of your research and okay. So we thank you for that. I want to go to our socials because Cheryl is asking a question. She asks, does black castor oil help?
I will say for seborrheic dermatitis, it does. That is one of the ingredients or one of the oils that is in my oil. I will say though, again, this is why I recommend going and getting like your scalp looked at. I feel like, again, I would see a dermatologist
to get a diagnosis.
Because again, you need the medical diagnosis before you go see a herbologist. So if you get it looked at, because then again, seborrheic dermatitis is an overgrowth of yeast, but it can also be an overgrowth of oil. Castor oil by itself, though, is very heavy. It's like thick. And if you do have that issue, let's say, this is why another thing I would like to tell my customers: knowing your scalp, knowing your hair, because if you know, let's say you put like heavier oil in your scalp and your scalp is like, no, this ain't it because it's itching, then let's stay away from the heavier oils. Whereas if you use a lighter oil, let's say, and you're like, your scalp is loving it because it's of a lighter consistency, then that's the kind of oil that you should use. But castor oil is great for seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff. A lot of people also swear by it for hair growth. Again, it's one of the oils in my product. But again, get a diagnosis if you know, like, okay, I've been doing everything humanly possible. Let's say, for instance, I've been using the Selsun Blues, I've been using the Head and Shoulders and stuff for dandruff, and nothing is working. Get a diagnosis so you know.
I can't imagine Selsun Blue and what was the other one you said? Head and Shoulders are for us.
I stay away from them, but
I was about to say I can't imagine they are for us.
I do hear a lot of dermatologists recommending it for, like, instead of washing your hair with it, more of your scalp. So if you have a scalp issue like dandruff, per se, you want to cleanse your scalp with it and not the length of your hair. But so many people use it and it still doesn't do anything, because normally if you're using something of that, like Selsun Blue, all of those things, you probably have a bigger issue because they treat dandruff.
Okay. That makes sense.
For something like seborrheic dermatitis, they will prescribe ketoconazole, for instance. Ketoconazole is a shampoo that is like an antifungal, antimicrobial. So again, we're going back to those antifungal, antimicrobial things, which again, if we're talking about, let's say from a natural standpoint, you can use things like peppermint oil, tea tree oil. Like I said, amla powder is very good for antimicrobial, antifungal. Neem powder as well. Which is a lot of things that are in my product, again, which is why it works so well for seborrheic dermatitis, dandruff, itching, and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow. I want to take a moment to go to our socials because our family members are joining the conversation. And Cynthia shares, Yusuf is blessed to have had that knowledge early in life. He so is. Cynthia, I was thinking, Yusuf, let me tell you, I'm still thinking about you. And what you just shared, I got to tell y'all, because your story sounds so interesting to me. Yusuf, call us back, please, and give Nick your information, because I would love to hear more about your upbringing and more about your story and your journey, if you care to share it. If you don't mind sharing it with us, I would so love that, because it sounds like you've definitely lived an inspiring life. I wish I had been introduced to a vegan life at a very young age. I wish that, some things were withheld, because like I said, my discipline has been waning, but please, Yusuf, if you get the chance, please call us back and give Nick your information for us, please, so we can follow up, because I would love to talk more with you. Look at this. Malcolm shares as well. Yusuf had an interesting story. Yes, he did. See that, Yusuf? We are all interested in knowing more about your life. Okay. We are all. Leslie is sharing a good evening to the entire Word family. Hi there, Leslie. Thank you for joining us. And Reese, hi, Sharice. This is Reese. Sharice Roberts. She's sharing a hello. Miss Carol. Hi there. Miss Roslyn. Miss Rosalind asks, she says, how does experience for the last 2 months hair loss? I switched from sulfur 8 to coconut oil, and I want to have my hair cut because it starts flaking. Okay, so you're experiencing, okay. You were using sulfur 8 and you switched to coconut oil, but your scalp is still flaking. Okay.
So she might be flaking due to the fact, again, excuse me. I personally see a lot of people using sulfur 8. Sulfur is very good for flaking, but sulfur 8 might be too heavy. Again, if we're going back to the dandruff versus the seborrheic dermatitis, the sulfur 8, she might have an overgrowth of oil already on her scalp. So applying sulfur 8 on top of the overgrowth of oil.
Okay.
So what we think is when we see a dry scalp that it's dry, right? When it comes to seborrheic dermatitis, it's basically like our oil glands in our scalp are overproducing. And it may not look like it, because what we think is we're supposed to touch our scalp and you see like a crap ton of oil. That's not the case. So what I would suggest is, if you are still having and the thing is, when you cut your hair, cutting your hair is really not going to stop the flaking. So I just saw a video like that. She cut all her hair off because she has really bad scalp psoriasis, but cutting your hair is not going to stop the flaking. So if you want to get to the root of the flaking versus cutting all your hair off and still having the flaking.
So what about the coconut oil?
Coconut oil, I feel like it doesn't. So if it's an overgrowth of yeast, let's say, right, which is what we want to go back to, like the seborrheic dermatitis thing, I don't feel like coconut oil is an ingredient that I use in my product, but I don't feel like it alone is not capable. I don't feel like its capabilities are as capable of getting rid of the flaking if you are having severe flaking, which it sounds like. So you might get something like, if you are having severe flaking, for instance, and it's itchy, if you want to use, let's say, coconut oil with tea tree oil, but you also have to make sure that your carrier oils, which coconut oil would be considered carrier oil, and then your tea tree, let's say, is an essential oil, that you are using the right percentages.
What does it mean to be a carrier oil?
So, carrier oil is basically what you would mix with an essential oil. So essential oils by themselves are too strong for us to put on our skin.
Okay. So it cuts it to a degree. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Miss Leslie shares that she's definitely interested. She says she's been diagnosed with psoriasis of the scalp and it's been dreadful. And she also shares that none of the over-the-counter shampoos work for her.
That sounds my issue. Like, that's literally why Lillian's Lush Organics was created, because it's so especially too, if you have to get a prescription, normally it has to be covered by the insurance. If it's not, then what?
Right.
It's like you're coming out of pocket very heavily because it's not covered by insurance. So that's kind of, again, why I literally was like, nope, we're not doing that. What can I do? Which is why, again, I went back to the drawing board. Like, all right, well, what powders do I use? Or what, like, depending on the product, I do use sometimes whole herbs. And then it's more of a, like, for instance, where I can get the powder, I'll use the powder. But I'm like, what can we do to get, like, what is it?
Right. Oh my goodness. So Cheryl shares, I don't use much oil. I do also use tea shampoo, and it does a great job exfoliating. The Cream of Nature shampoo. That's what she uses. She uses she meant to say Cream of Nature after tea shampoo. Huh. Okay. That's well, thank you for that, Cheryl. Miss Rosalind shares that she loves vegan food, but it's so expensive, and trying to learn how to cook it is even harder, even though it is healthier for us. Miss Rosalind, I am with you, but my cousin, I'll tell you this, my cousin who actually checked in earlier, Misty, she is full vegan, and I have to be honest, because she makes some wonderful and delicious dishes. I still don't know all of what she uses, but I mean, everything she cooks is vegan, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. Family, I'm looking at the time. Oh, woe is me. It's time for us to take just a short break. I've gotten so carried away with the conversation. But when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. So stay with us because we'll be right back.
Tune in this Friday at 9:20 a.m. for Tech Life Steph's digital tip of the week. Listen throughout the week for her digital updates. Brought to you by Comcast.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe. It is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Join Word Radio for our annual Founders Day celebration. Mark your calendars for August 18th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Word's Future Home, 3601 Appleford Avenue. Embrace the spirit of Founders Day with a tribute to the legacy of Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD, complete with food, live music, local vendors, health screenings, and much more. And here's a special invitation. If you're not yet a member, this is the perfect opportunity to join the 4-Word movement and support Black Talk Media exclusively on Founders Day. Secure your membership at the exceptional rate of $80. Visit wordradio.com or join us at our Founders Day event to be a part of the 4-Word community. Let's celebrate together.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
And we are back. Family, don't miss out on this incredible offer. Become a member on Founders Day to grab the discounted membership rate of only $80. Also, with your membership, you can enter to win a pair of Lion King tickets and snag your swag while supplies last. But that's not all. All members will have the exclusive chance to secure their 20th anniversary ticket at a specially discounted price starting September 1st. Remember, membership comes with its perks. Join us on Founders Day, Friday, August 18th, tomorrow. And as always, thank you for supporting Black Talk Media. So family, we are talking with CARLY ASARÜ. She is the owner of Lillian's Lush Organics. And we've been talking about all kinds of things. But I'm looking at the clock and I know that the hour goes by so quickly. So CARLY, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can share some things with us before you get out of here.
So I will say the biggest thing, if you are looking for a diagnosis and you haven't been diagnosed yet, I will say again, not again, I haven't said it yet, but the biggest thing that I did when I was trying to figure out what exactly was going on with my scalp, like basically just my body, I was told by a nutritionist to keep a food, like basically like a food diary. So it was like, okay, well, what did I eat? How long did it take for my scalp to, let's say, become itchy or me to start to kind of flare? And that way, when I went to the dermatologist, I was able to say, okay, this is what I had. This is what happened. I also kept kind of track of like between wash days, because at the time I wasn't able to spread my wash days out. Like I was literally washing my hair maybe every 4 to 5 days. I could not get anything past 5. So I was keeping track of that. As well as like I had pictures. So if I had, let's say, plaquing or like flaking, that was like, okay, this don't look normal. I would like, picture the best way I could. And that way I could say to the doctor, okay, I had to wash my hair before my appointment, let's say, but this is what my scalp looked like prior to my appointment. So that way they can actually see. But even with the washing, sometimes I wasn't washing it enough, but I had so much plaquing and scaling that sometimes when I would wash my hair, and I parted it, I think one appointment I went to, I literally washed it the day before, and she was like, no, I still see scales and like plaquing on your scalp.
When you say scales, what
It's like so what tends to happen is it's like almost like you know what like dandruff on the scalp looks like? It's like it's white, for instance.
Yes.
So with scaling, it's almost like it's way thicker. So and it's like a yellowish color. It can be yellow. It can be like a grayish whitish color, but you like mine, for instance, is yellow. What tends to happen is, like I said, it's almost like a scabby kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's not like a flaking. Normally what tends to happen is if I pull mine off, which normally has to happen in order to wash my hair and get it clean, it sometimes is wet, let's say, under it, for instance, because like of course it's like like the skin is broken almost because like scratching, all of that kind of stuff. So it resembles almost like a scab. If that
sounds so painful. Oh my goodness.
Can be. When I just washed my hair a couple days ago, I had like a half up, half down, and this like the top quadrants of my head were so tender. So it can be tender, painful. Some people don't have anything at all, but more than likely, depending, and this is why I say don't scrape. You don't want to, like, a lot of people get like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much like pleasure in scraping the dandruff or checking, but you're doing more damage than good, because what you're doing is you're now making abrasions on the scalp, which then in turn creates more scabs.
Oh my goodness. So Miss Rosalind has a question. She asks, how long did you go through this before you realized what exactly you had to use to control your condition of your control the condition of your hair?
A long time.
I
think most of college, so 4 years was college. I don't really think I got it. I finally got it under control and got a regimen, I feel like maybe 2 years ago, maybe. And still, it's not like I have it all together still. Like there's still some days where it's like my flares are out of this world. I went away with my family, and we went to Barbados in December. And I literally got off my flight. My flare was so bad. I got off my flight. I didn't even get home and like get in bed. Like I literally had to take my sewing out, take it down, unbraid my hair and wash it. And even when I did, like I still have pictures where like I was like bleeding. It was scabby. But it's not as often. Like it comes and it goes. So I haven't had one really that bad since. And we're in August, so probably 8-9 months. But that's not to say that it won't ever happen again. So it's like kind of knowing which those things show up.
So you'll have, well, you know what, as I'm about to ask you this question, because you say you'll have a flare up, but I guess that makes sense because for some people, it depends greatly upon your diet, I imagine. So, if you're eating certain things, it'll be more aggressive. It'll affect you more aggressively. I do want to share Malcolm White shares, there's a content creator, Tabitha Brown. Yes, we love Tab. We love Tab. That has all kinds of recipes for vegan food. He shares, I am still a meat eater, but she makes it look halfway good. Actually, she really does. She really does. She does make vegan food look really good, Malcolm. And I have yet to try one of these recipes. I think I bought one of her cookbooks. I think I did. And that's so sad for me to say. I think I did. Which clearly is every indication that I've not opened it. Okay. But I was supporting. So Miss Rosalind has another question. She's asking if you think that it came from braiding and using a different kind of hair.
It can. What people don't realize is braiding hair has alkaline in it. Alkaline is a chemical. So what it does is it treats the hair. The shinier, I'm going to say this just as word of advice, the shinier the braiding hair, which most of us is like, I want the shine. The shinier the braiding hair, the more alkaline. Alkaline, what it does is it pulls the moisture out of your hair. It's a chemical, so you're putting it on your scalp.
Right.
So
y'all, I don't know if I shared this with you, family. So I did have a hair debacle just before I got my braids. So I went to, here I go. See, doing something I had no business in any event. I bought the hair. Okay. I know nothing about hair, nothing. I'm not that girl. I don't know anything about it, but I went to buy the hair and my hairstylist, she braided it in and I had this thought, well, that hair and I, we did not agree, that we did not like each other one bit. Oh my goodness, it was horrible. She put it in on a Saturday. I had to travel on a Monday. So I had to go back to her the following day for her to take it all out and then do this. Yeah, God bless her. As a matter of fact, I did share my love for her, Mardia Reed. I'm telling you, I love her dearly because she saved me. She saved my life. I was itching. It was itching. It was horrible.
Mine is braiding hair. So,
It was
that's
horrible.
people. It's what it does, and what you'll tend to see is it pulls all the moisture out. So when you take your braids out, you have more breakage. Like people think braids are a protective style. It can be, but depending on how it's done, the hair that's used, all of that. And you will hear some stylists say, I'm going to treat the hair before you come, which is usually cider vinegar and baking soda to get the alkaline out.
Wow. Well, she she took care of me because I was crying. I called her. I mean,
yeah,
it was horrible. I was mortified. And I think I did share when I said hello to you all on that Monday, because she literally, I mean, God bless her, her poor fingers. The entire day she took it all out and then did this. Just God bless her. But family, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online. You all know how transparent I am. I share with you. I tell you what's going on and what I'm dealing with. It's in the hopes that, it can help somebody. It can help somebody. But I don't wish that experience on anybody. Okay. I don't care who you are. I don't wish that experience on anybody. I was, I don't even want to relive it. Okay. But Carly, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel like I've only talked to you for like 10 minutes. Heavens to Murgatroyd. But hopefully you'll come back again and we'll have our hair update. I enjoy these conversations, and I do. I tell you that. This is my love bug right here. I tell her I enjoy when she comes, but hopefully you'll come back and talk with us some more, and help us all along our hair care journey. Will you do that? Will you do that? I do want to share Miss Rosalind. Miss Rosalind says she needs to get the cookbook, Tabitha's cookbook. You should. Well, the pictures looked wonderful. Like I said, I haven't cooked any of it yet, but the pictures looked amazing. I promise you, I'm going to try at least one of these recipes. Like I said, I was supporting, and I said, "Oh, Tab, I got to get the cookbook." But Heather Wilson. Hey, Heather. Hey, beautiful. She shares, I love this info. I love this info. And Miss Leslie, she shares, thank you. I plan to check out your products. So there we have it. There we have it. Miss Rosalind is sharing. She said that human hair is about $100 and some. She said, I wouldn't put that stuff in my head if they paid. I don't blame you, Miss Rosalind, with the experience that I just had. I don't know what I bought. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't know anything about hair, but what I do know is that whatever I bought was the wrong thing. So I made sure I took a picture of it so I don't ever come into contact with it again. I felt like, I was itching so badly. It's like, I'm going to pray that none of you ever have that experience. Ms. Lily shares, thank you, Carly, for the insightful information pertaining to the alkaline hair. How about that? Because I had no idea as well. I had no idea. Family, so listen, our phone lines are open. So feel free to call. I like it when you check in. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can also call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. And feel free to continue to comment on our socials, because I love the love you share there. As a matter of fact, how many of you will I see tomorrow at our Founders Day celebration? Will I see any of you tomorrow? Let me know in our comments. Let me know if you're coming. Let me know. In the meantime, what we're going to do right now is take just a short break. Carly, once again, thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, your spirit, and the knowledge that you have with us. And we can't wait to see you the next time. Okay, we can't wait to see you next time. But until then, I love you. And I promise you, we are getting together, okay, outside of the show. Family, stay with us, because we've got another great guest when we come back. Stay with us.
Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Did You Know Show with host Bryant Green, right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM.
When you take a walk around your neighborhood and notice all the things that make it feel like home, like all the houses lined neatly together in a row, or your neighbor, Miss Rita, who always waves at you when you drive down the street, or that movie theater in the strip mall that might look a little worn down, but has the best popcorn you've ever tasted. One thing might be a little harder to notice because somewhere tucked in that neat row of houses is hunger. It could be your next door neighbor, or your coworker, or your daughter's friend from school, because over 30 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. Hunger lives in neighborhoods all around us, but it doesn't have to. Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030, because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com from Acme Markets, Palucci's, and King's Foundations. Let's break the cycle of hunger together.
After I lost my mom, I lost my way. Then I found youth advocate programs, behavioral health services.
As a little kid, I made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
YAP gives communities alternatives to residential care, youth incarceration, and neighborhood violence. After completing our program, nearly 90% of participants remain in their community. YAP works.
I'm working towards a bright future.
Youth advocate programs. Others talk social change. We make it happen. Learn more at yapinc.org.
The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. Word's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out these recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. Brown ShopRite and Fresh Grocer are hiring cashiers at multiple locations, and Herb Foods are hiring truck drivers, various warehouse shift laborers, and a sales representative. For more information on these jobs and many others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by Word Radio, progressive Black talk media.
Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media, we're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. So before the break, I was asking how many of you I was asking you how many of you I will see tomorrow at our Founders Day celebration. And I'm happy to read that some will attend, but that others, I'm so sad to see that others cannot. But I do know that you will all be there in spirit and in love. I do know that. Donna Baker shares that. Hello. She's in Fort Washington, Maryland. Hi there, Donna. Thank you for joining us. Cheryl shares that she wishes she could come, but they moved to Central Florida 2 years ago. Lucky you, lucky you, lucky you. Malcolm shares that he's going to try to stop through. I hope you make it. I sure do. And Miss Lily shares that unfortunately she can only be there in spirit due to health complications. Well, Miss Lily, I know you will be there in love. I know that you all will. All of you that are not able to attend in person. Miss Rosalind shares that if God wills it, I will be there. I need to do this myself and for the Word family, and to renew her membership. Well, Miss Rosalind, you better come give me some love. You better come give me some love if you make it there. I hope you do. And hello there, Will Downing. How are you, good sir? It's so nice to have you join us. Always. Family, you'll be able to see us this weekend. We're going to be in Patterson, New Jersey on Saturday, the 18th. You know you'll be able to come and hang out with us. I hope you do. I hope you do. So family, I was sharing with you about Founders Day, but what I didn't say is that this year on Founders Day, Word Radio will acknowledge 5 members of the community as part of our celebration of the life and legacy of Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. The 2023 Word Community Impact Award recipients are Reverend Dr. Andy Jenkins, Mika Johnson, CEO of All Black Everything Pop-Up, Dr. Delana Wardlaw, and Dr. Ilana McDonald of the Twin Sister Docs, Jasmine A. Smith, founder and CEO of Icons Sports League, and our very own Troy Wilmore, technical production manager, radio show producer, and remote broadcast engineer. So I hope you will join us on Founders Day tomorrow, Friday, August 18th at the future home of Word, 3601 Haverford Avenue, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., where we will honor the awardees. Mark your calendars and tune in to Word on Monday, September 4th from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and hear the Community Impact Award recipients share their life's journey and groove to the playlist that represents the soundtrack to their lives. Word Radio is proud to support and acknowledge those who work tirelessly to uplift our community. Congratulations to all of the 2023 WURD Community Impact Award recipients. So family, I was sharing with you that I have another incredible guest that I would love for you to meet. Now, I know what you're saying. We already know it's Thursday, and we typically have our Thursday with Dr. Z. Well, guess what? Dr. Z couldn't be with us today, but she is sending someone in her stead. How about that? How about that, right? She said, oh, you're going to love her. I said, I don't doubt it if you're sending her. So in her stead, family, we will converse with Dr. Pamela Kennebrew. Dr. Pamela Kennebrew is the assistant professor and chair of the Counseling and Human Services program at Lincoln University School of Adult and Continuing Education. She's also a member of the Delaware Valley chapter of the Association of Black Psychologists and the National Association of Black Psychologists. She is certified as both a Sawubona Healing Circle leader and a sex therapist. Family, I welcome you to the conversation with Dr. Pamela Kennebrew. Hello there, beautiful.
Hello. Thank you all for that warm welcome. And I was just sitting here listening to the previous guest, and I'm just excited about all the love that was shared both between the two of you and with the audience and asking questions. So I hope you're able to allow some of that love to flow over on me, and I'm looking forward to it. And I know, Dr. Z is usually on, but I hope I represent well. So thank you for the welcome, and I look forward to the conversation.
We are so happy to have you here. And Dr. Kennebrew, this is your tribe, so you already have love. That's what we bring here. You already have love, right, family? Yes, please let Dr. Kennebrew know that this is her home. This is love. This is where love resides. So, Dr. Kennebrew, I'm so, you know what? I know that we originally, we were going to talk about schizophrenia tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started reading about your specialties, I said, oh my goodness, well, I have other questions too. Heavens to Murgatroyd. But I digress. I will begin with the topic at hand, schizophrenia. What exactly is schizophrenia?
Okay, that's a very important question, but let me first do a disclosure that the information that I'm providing is not to diagnose or treat schizophrenia or any other mental illness, but to provide information and some clarification regarding this issue.
Absolutely.
So, just having said that, schizophrenia is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects how a person thinks, how they feel, and how they behave, right? So how they think, how they feel, and how they behave. Oftentimes, people with schizophrenia may feel like they've lost touch with reality. Schizophrenia isn't as common as a lot of other mental disorders, but the symptoms can be very disabling. They can be very disabling. So, I don't know if you want me to go into more detail in describing it, or if you have some questions, we can just have a conversation about schizophrenia.
Well, actually, I know so little about schizophrenia. I'm open to you going into more detail.
Okay, good. Sometimes, let me just clarify some myths. So contrary to popular perception, people with schizophrenia don't have split personalities or multiple personalities.
Wow.
And for the most part, do not pose a danger to others. However, the symptoms can be very terrifying to those who are afflicted with the disease, and can make them unresponsive, agitated, and withdrawn. So a lot of the behavior that we see that's dangerous has to do with that part of it, not necessarily the disease itself. I mentioned that it's not that common. I think statistics show about 3.5 million adults. Only about 1.1% of the population, of the adult population, live with schizophrenia. And there are about 21 million people worldwide who are afflicted with schizophrenia. And so it's not that, it's very rare. It's very rare.
First of all, I had no idea that it was rare. I thought it was really common. And the first thing you said, it really just blew me out of the water, because I always associated, and here you're talking about popular perception, I always associated multiple personalities or a multiple personality disorder with schizophrenia. I thought they went hand in hand.
Right. And they don't. So we say things like, oh, that person's schizoid, or that person's their behavior. Again, remember that this mental disorder affects how a person thinks, how they feel, and how they behave, right? Schizophrenia is severe and it's debilitating brain and behavior disorder. It's a brain and a behavior disorder, right? Oftentimes people with schizophrenia can have trouble distinguishing reality from fantasy, and we can talk a little bit about that. They have a hard time expressing and managing normal emotions and making decisions. Their thought process may be disorganized, and often lose the motivation to engage in life activities, right? So what we see oftentimes is are the symptoms of the disease, right? And we have a tendency to focus on those.
I have a question for you. I'm so sorry. So sorry to interject, because my mind is shooting right now.
And that's fine. I like to flow like that as well. Okay.
Thank you so much. And please, I thank you so much in advance for your patience with me, because every time we have a talk about mental health, I know so little that I don't know the different symptoms of the different challenges that people with mental health have. So schizophrenia, are there symptoms that mirror bipolar disorder?
Yes, exactly. And so, and I'm glad you brought that up. So too, there's nothing to apologize. There's a lot of myths and misinformation regarding mental illnesses, mental disorders, and also there's the stigmatization. And one of the things that I do have some notes here is that people who have schizophrenia, we don't say people are schizophrenic, right? We say people are suffering with schizophrenia. People with schizophrenia often suffer with symptoms either continuously or intermittently throughout their life, and they are severely stigmatized by people who don't understand the disease. So there's already stigma associated with mental illness. There's stigma associated with a lot of illnesses, right? And so, but mental illness, there's a stigma associated with it, and people are often severely stigmatized.
Indeed.
And yeah, go ahead.
One of our family members has a question, if you don't mind.
Yes,
Melissa Gamble is asking, does the illness typically come at a certain age?
That's a good question. I do have that in my notes. It's interesting, and I think we can have a whole conversation around this as well. And so, usually the symptoms, some of the symptoms, and we didn't really talk about the symptoms, but some of the symptoms, such as hallucination and delusions, usually start between the ages of 16 and 30. Men tend to experience the symptoms earlier than women. People don't usually develop schizophrenia after the age of 45, and it rarely occurs in children. But it's very interesting because when I said the delusions, the symptoms usually start around age 16. If anybody knows a teenager, they're acting a little different anyway, right? And so, being able to differentiate normal adolescent behavior, normal life behavior from the symptoms of schizophrenia. And so that's kind of a challenge, right? And so the first signs usually include like change in friends, drops in grades, sleep problems, irritability. These are all behaviors that are common among teens.
Right.
Show me a teen that doesn't act like that, right? And so it's often very difficult for people to say, that's kind of interesting.
To be able to identify.
Did that answer your question?
Melissa. Well, actually, Melissa has a few more questions, so I'll ask the second question. She'd like to know, are there other diseases or conditions that can bring it on?
Oh, I'm loving these questions. I'm really loving these questions. So there are several factors that actually contribute to the risk of developing schizophrenia. Genetics, environment, brain chemistry, brain structure, and brain development. And so scientists believe that different genes increase the risk of schizophrenia, but no single gene causes the disorder.
Oh, wow.
When you look at these factors together, and when I say environment, family, when you hear me say environment, now the teacher is coming.
I was just about to ask. I had it in my notes.
What do you think I mean when I say environment?
Their upbringing. I was thinking the familial upbringing, what they're experiencing in their immediate family, where they're surrounding.
Right. Anybody else have anything different? Yeah. So no, anybody? Okay. So when we say our environment, there are various approaches to therapy, psychotherapy, psychology, and one of the theories or the way I view things is from a systems point of view, right? And so when you look at the system that the person is engaged with, right? The family, the home, outside influence, right? So if you have a genetic predisposition and some other external environmental factors, that may make for a perfect storm in the manifestation of the illness. And I don't know if some people might ask that question, but we do, and there's some literature around the introduction of certain drugs, right?
Oh yeah.
There are some, schizophrenia can be brought on by drugs.
So like a chemical
Right?
imbalance because it'll alter.
Right. So remember the brain chemistry, right? The brain chemistry, all of these things. So think about genetics, environment, brain chemistry, the structure of your brain, and our brain development. So
wow,
when we look at, it's very interesting because the brain is that organ in our body that continues to develop after we're born, right? Research has shown that adolescent brain isn't fully developed. A person's brain isn't developed until probably 22, 23, 24 years old.
Okay.
So the brain is developing in real time, right? So all of these external forces, all of the environment writ large can contribute to the manifestation of that disease, particularly if there's a genetic predisposition to it.
So, well, and Melissa did have the other question. She was asking if it was hereditary, and you did touch on that.
Genetics does play a part, but I'm always hesitant when we start to talk about genetics. DNA isn't destiny, right? But it does contribute. And that's just not with something like schizophrenia, but there's a lot particularly in our community, we hear these things all the time. This runs in my family, right? So once you understand that you may have a genetic predisposition, then you want to alter the environmental factors and the other factors so that that particular the manifestation or the expression of that gene doesn't necessarily happen. And the same thing can happen with schizophrenia.
It makes so much sense. Yeah, that makes so much sense when you say that. Family, listen, if you have just tuned in, you are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online. We are talking with Dr. Pamela Kennebrew, and we've begun the conversation about schizophrenia, but I'm all over the place because we're talking about mental health, and y'all know I have questions. But if you too have questions, feel free to share them in our comments, or you can also give us a call. And you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can also call us toll free. You can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. I've asked Dr. Kennebrew about schizophrenia, about bipolar disorder. I have more questions about both. I actually have more questions as well about her other specialties too. And I know the hour goes by so quickly. So I'm telling you, if you have questions, you better get them in. What we're going to do right now is take a short break. But when we come back, we're going to go to the phone lines. I believe we have some family members waiting to join the conversation. Again, you too, you can call us 215-634-8065 or toll free at 1-866-361-0900. We're going to be on the lookout for your call and for your comments on our socials. Okay. So stay with us because we're coming right back.
Thank you.
Founders Day is back, and you won't want to miss the celebration of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD, on Friday, August 18th at the future home of WURD, 3601 Haverford Avenue, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please join us for a block party filled with panel discussions, health screenings, dancing, food, and fun. Check out family-friendly activities, vendors, and the presentation of our third annual Community Impact Awards. You can also stand with Word Radio. Start or renew your 4-Word membership
at the special Founders Day discounted rate of $80 or start a digital membership. That's our 2023 Founders Day celebration, Friday, August 18th at the future home of WURD, 3601 Haverford Avenue from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. The 2023 Founders Day celebration is brought to you by My Independence at Home, Supra Office Solutions, Inc., and Oak Street Health.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Off's Excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, copy, check. Talk to doctor now and share.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. I'm talking with Dr. Pamela Kennebrew. I want to share that some family members from our socials are checking in. Melissa did say thank you for the information, Dr. Kennebrew. And Dr. Z is sending her love and saying hello to us all. And she shares that this is a great conversation. And one of our family members is checking in from Twitch. Hey there. Nice to see you as well. I did share that we have a family member waiting to join the conversation on our own lines. So why don't we check in and find out who's there? Hello. Are you still there?
Yes. Hello, Carol. Hello, doctor.
Hi, Ron.
Yes, I want to address this about schizophrenia. Ma'am, when I was a young child, I was sad. The lady took me in, and what she did, because my personality at that time was, very young, and what she did, she replaced that sadness with caring and love and spiritual talking. That's schizophrenia, by the way, if you look at it for the small time that I had it. Aretha said it better in a lot of cases, and that was created by Dr. Sigmund Freud. That's going to be a psychologist. He's the one creating all type of words for all people and giving all people things that they don't have. And so what I am saying, man, is childhood tenderness. Cal made what you're talking about tonight. Cal had one of her students in the class, and the child was going through some sort of little thing, metamorphosis in the home, and I'm not talking anything negative. And what Cal did, she humbled herself her spirit of divineness acknowledge the divineness in that child. That problem that child had, Carol already won the battle. It's all about communication. I say for myself as an 80-year-old man, we must stop letting, be careful. I will not let people give me something I don't have. People give you something, you become that, what they give you. It's all about parenting. It's all about caring. And that's myself on that schizophrenia. And they're making money off this stuff, a lot of these things. And I'm certainly not suggesting that you should speak with people like you or other your medical doctors. But I want to close with this, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say to Mr. Will, if you're listening, sir, I haven't spoken to you last time I spoke with you. You was talking about your beloved one that left us. I want to say this to you, Mr. Will. May God be with her and be with you until you meet again at Jesus' feet. By his counsel, God of holy, keep her in his arms securely folded until you meet again. Oh, yes, out of all things that we can do, and we give it to people like you, doctor, but your prayer has proven to turn the tide and give you hope for tomorrow. It is the parents and the grannies and the elders, especially all people come out of that southern experience. They had to care for a lot of things. So my cup runneth over. Always, always give love to your elders, and do not get so educated. They not get so educated. Do you miss the health care and the mental health care that the elders have given to us? I bear witness, these elders, that elder that raised me, what a wonderful job she did on me. A sad child, but I'm glad, I'm happy today. Thank you, Cal. Thank you, beloved.
Ron, thank you. Thank you for calling. As always, thank you for sharing love and positivity as well, as always. Dr. Kennebrew, we have another question for you. The question is it true that all of us have mental illness of some type? And then Melissa shares, I would say that it's good to know your husband or wife's medical history. That's true if you plan to have children.
Yeah. All right. So there's two things. One, let me just address Elder Ron. We always want to respect our elders, and we stand on the shoulders of our elders. And I appreciate his comments, and I thank you for that wisdom. I don't know if I said in the beginning when I talked about the environmental factors and how there's one thing he talked about being sad. And there's sometimes the symptoms of schizophrenia can be mistaken for laziness or depression. Schizophrenia is not laziness, and schizophrenia is not depression, right? So, we just want to, I just wanted to bring that into the picture, because just like sadness isn't depression, right? And so we really want to be able to understand that. But, love is always the answer. We can, even when people are diagnosed with a severe mental illness, love is love and support. Remember, I talked about looking at a systems perspective, right?
Yes.
And so all that environment, the love, the support, oftentimes people aren't successful in the managing of their particular mental illness. We're talking about schizophrenia, but the same could be true of any other mental illness, because they don't have the support that they need in order to be successful. So I thank Ron, and I just really want to we're going to talk about the types of symptoms, but some of the symptoms could be mistaken for laziness.
Okay.
Right.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to interject before, because I definitely wanted to talk about the symptoms. But would you say, because Melissa asked, she said, is it true that we all have some sort of mental illness? Is that true?
I'm gonna bring. Okay, so I talked to you about my affiliation with the Association of Black Psychologists, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Many of the terms and the labels that we have are based on a Eurocentric Western model, right? And so even the term psychology, psyche originally meant soul, right? And so we have in the Western world, it means something else, right? And so if you look at the model that we have, then every one of us at some point in time experience, even when I go through the symptoms of schizophrenia, raise your hand if you've ever had any of these symptoms. We all do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have a mental illness. You understand? The other part is whenever you disconnect or disassociate spirit, soul, and body, there's going to be an imbalance there, right? And so, again, what we do as healers, or what I do as a healer, is talking about bringing all of those systems into harmony, right? And so when they aren't in harmony, we are going to have just experiences, right? That cannot necessarily be optimal. So, you know, I don't want to throw things out there where we all have mental illness. We all experience things, but I'm careful to label. But if you,
that's understandable.
In the DSM, which is the manual that psychologists use, there was something called drapetomania, which was classified as a mental illness when people didn't want to be enslaved anymore. So the whole, so I know that's a whole nother conversation. So the discipline itself, as it has been constructed, is based on a model that would classify many of us as being mentally ill, but that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us. And that's right. Okay. All right. So
no, that makes so much sense. Yeah, no, thank you for, and quite honestly, thank you for breaking it down as you did. Thank you so much for that.
Right.
For that itself.
And the other part, when she talks about, should we ask about people's medical history? So you said medical, but we were talking about mental. But I think that's always important, you know. And so again, we want to move away from stigma, right? But there are many things that go on in a person's life, right? Or early childhood and all of these things. And if these issues aren't addressed, they can manifest later in our relationship. So we don't want to use someone's early childhood or their previous experiences as a way to cut them off, you know, or like, I don't want to talk to you. But you do want to understand what may have taken place in their life, so you know what you're dealing with.
We have another question from, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
One of our family members. No. Miss Joanne, she's asking if schizophrenia can be hereditary. Is there anything in place before symptoms appear to check for in young children?
Okay, so let me, I'm just going to clarify a couple of things. I didn't say it was hereditary. I said that there may have been some genetic predisposition, right? So I don't want to get into the weeds, but I just want us to understand that just because there's a genetic predisposition to something doesn't necessarily mean it's hereditary. And so scientists believe that there are genes that may increase the risk of schizophrenia, but there's no, as I said earlier, there's no one gene that causes the disorder, right? and it's not, and to answer your question, it's not possible to use genetic information to determine who will develop schizophrenia. Okay.
Wow. So Dr. Kennebrew, you were going to go into some of the symptoms of schizophrenia.
Yeah. So, so oftentimes the disease manifests differently in different people and progresses differently, and it depends on the time of onset. I told you it usually starts about, maybe 16, the severity and the duration of the symptoms. So I'm going to categorize the symptoms, and as with a lot of things in Western science and medicine, they seem to be a little bit different. So symptoms can be classified as what we call positive, negative, and cognitive. So all three kinds reflect problems in the brain function, right? So when I say something is a positive symptom, when you hear positive, you think good, right? Oh,
that's true.
It's a positive, right? But that's not what that means.
Okay.
So a positive in this sense means symptoms are the things that might start happening. And these things that might start happening could be severe or mild, and they include like delusions, hallucination, and thought disorders. So something that starts is considered positive. And we can get into a little of that. Negative symptoms are things that might stop happening. So if a person loses functioning in their emotions or motivation, a negative symptom could be like loss or reduction in the ability to initiate plans, speak or express emotion, find pleasure in life, right? So positive things are things that start. Delusions, hallucinations, inner voices, all of these can be like a hallmark of other serious mental illnesses. And you mentioned bipolar disorder.
Yes.
So some of these things are symptoms that show up in bipolar disorder, not necessarily just schizophrenia. Delusions can often lead people to believe that others are monitoring them, threatening them, reading their minds. Hallucinations cause people to see, feel, smell. We talk about auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations. And then we have, olfactory, they smell. These thought disorders cause people to have difficulty putting their thoughts together and making sense of things, right? Sometimes there's clumsiness, unusual mannerisms, repetitive actions. There's often cases where people end up in a catatonic state where they're just rigid for a long period of time. So those are the positive symptoms.
Wow, associated with schizophrenia.
Yes, right.
Wow.
So oftentimes there's an emotional flatness, a lack of expression, and again, the inability to begin or sustain planned activity, social withdrawal, apathy, and sometimes these symptoms are mistaken for laziness or depression, right? So again, when we're talking about young people, you're just lazy, or you're just depressed, right? And so, and then the third symptom I didn't mention is when we talk about cognitive symptoms. Cognitive, when we hear the word cognitive, it has to do with our thinking. And so these are problems with attention and memory, and again, planning and achieving a goal. The cognitive, and this is very important, the cognitive defects, deficiencies are usually the most debilitating for people trying to lead a normal life. And let me just say, trying to lead a normal life, people with schizophrenia can lead a normal life.
Without I know oftentimes medication is prescribed, but can they do so without medication, or typically with medication?
Not. Usually what we look at is medicine and behavioral therapy.
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So medicine, behavioral therapy, and then the support of those who are around them. So there's no cure for schizophrenia. And that's where I'm saying we don't want to, there's a whole way about diagnosis, and we'll talk about that in a
Okay.
minute.
I was just
But
about.
it's treatable and it's manageable with medicine and behavioral therapy, especially if it's diagnosed early and treated continuously. Sometimes people with real acute symptoms, like severe delusions or hallucinations or suicidal thoughts or the ability to care for oneself, sometimes that does require a hospitalization.
Okay. Dr. Kennebrew, I just want to interrupt you for one moment because it's time for us to take just a short break. Family, I'm looking at the time and I realize we have so little time. I know the hour goes by so quickly and we have more questions from our family members on our socials. But family, stay with us because we're going to take just a short break, but we will be right back.
Tune in this Friday at 9:20 a.m. for Tech Life Steph's Digital Tip of the Week. Listen throughout the week for her digital updates. Brought to you by Comcast.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are still tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online. Dr. Kennebrew, I want to share with you that one of our family members, Eric, shares great important information. As always, thank you very, very much. And Miss Rosalind shares that she suffers with manic depression and she suffered with manic depression and schizophrenia for 19 years, but she was able to work, raise a whole herd of family, and she's still able to function. She's curious to know, when does it stop? When does it stop? I know there's so much. I have a ton more questions. Which is crazy. I have so many more. Look, I had prepared some to ask you prior to, and then I wrote some more down as you were talking. I wrote more questions. And I was going to ask, and I'm glad that Miss Rosalind she touched on it, because I was going to ask if it was possible. Well, I was going to ask specifically if it was possible to have bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, or because I know there are some conditions that exist together, because I feel like there's such a small dividing line between some of the disorders and conditions.
Right. So yeah, people often have multiple, and it is possible. And I just think, that the family member is just a testimony or testament to the fact that you can. It doesn't have to be debilitating, right? People live with all of these disorders. One of the things that we talk about is, the diagnosis. I don't know if we're going to have time to talk about that, but the symptoms can be relieved, right? Oftentimes what happens though, it becomes very intermittent because once, people are on medication, and then they have talk their behavioral therapy and they have the support, and then you have a tendency to feel that everything is okay, like we do with a lot of our physical illnesses, right? And then we stop taking our medicine and then it recurs again. And I think a lot of that has to do with there's a stigma associated with mental health, just like there's a stigma associated with any disruption in our health, right? And so sometimes that having the medicine allows the system to reset so that the individual is receptive to talk therapy or behavioral therapy and
so
those kinds of things, right?
I get, and I do want to share that Miss Rosalind shares that she shares, I believe you're able to control it when you have good resources and people that love you, and when you know that God is going to protect you. She shares that was how she was able to overcome a lot of situations as we speak, and she also shares that she's been on no medication 3 years. 3 years. And so, and that speaks to what you were saying about having a starting point and then being able to go without the medication. Like I understand that. I definitely get that. And that's not in every case, as you were saying, too.
Right.
That's right. So, and I get that. Miss Rosalind, I want to say thank you to you for your transparency. Quite honestly, I mean, family, you all know I'm transparent with you. I share with you. I talk with you about what's going on in my life and what I'm dealing with. But and it's not with the expectation that you will, but I so appreciate that you do, because I do believe that communication is key. And I believe that something from all of our stories will help somebody. I believe it'll be instrumental in the next person's journey. So I love you for that. I so do. I love you for that when you share as well. So Dr. Kennebrew, I'm looking at the time.
I know.
Will you come back and talk with us? Will you come back again?
I certainly will. Just send me the invite and I'm more than happy. We have so much to talk about. I know. The question about intimate relationships, that was, some of the questions that you presented.
Yes.
And it kind of fits into what I do with my other hat. I did want to talk just briefly. I am at Lincoln University School of Adult and Continuing Education, the Human Services program. We are always looking for students. We have a lot of people who have the lived experiences, in human services, either as recipients or even providers of service, but don't have the degree. And so we have a degree completion program in the undergraduate program geared to adults who want to actually get that degree, right? And it is an accelerated program. And we do, to the extent that we can, allow credit for prior learning. And then we also have the master's program in human services. And so, we're located in Center City, 3020 Market. You don't have to go all the way out to main campus.
I didn't know that.
All the way out to, yes, 3020 Market. Come down and do a show from down there, right?
Okay.
And so 3020 Market, that's where the School of Adults and Continuing Education is. And if people are interested, they can just contact Lincoln University admissions. But the school, we have a lot of our individuals who started college, didn't finish for any number of reasons. Life be lifing, right? But this is an opportunity. They want to go back, but who wants to sit in a classroom with a bunch of 19-year-olds? But these are adults. You also, we have folks who've been working in the field. They've been doing the work, right? But they just don't have the theory. So what we do in the program is marry the theory with their practical experience so that they can go back into the workforce.
Into the workforce.
And with those degrees that they need. So I just want to do that shameless
plug. Well, you know what? That's I want you to come back and talk with us about your other specialties as well. I want you to talk about, you know, and I want to make sure I pronounce
Sawabona Healing Circle.
Okay, it was okay. So
Sawabona Healing Circle.
Well, I don't want to do that now though. I want you to come back because I want you to break it all down for us, and because you're a sex therapist too. I want to talk about it all. That, you know, I want to talk about all. And listen, we're living in 2023, so I can only imagine that being a sex therapist, your practice has changed in so many ways since we have, you know, so many lifestyles currently. I can only imagine that, you know, there have been changes. But I just want to say thank you though for the information that you did share. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy and your spirit and your attention and your knowledge. And I mean it. I want you to come back and visit with us and share some more. Family. Did you feel the love, Dr. Kennebrew? Did you feel the love?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I just want to, like, you know, just sit back and talk, right? But at the time, you know, we only have an hour, and but I hope that I gave some information that would help. It wasn't the be all and end all on schizophrenia, but I hope I clarified some things, and I'd be more than happy to talk.
We're going to have you back so we can talk some more. This is an ongoing conversation. So Miss Rosalind is asking, where are you located in Philadelphia? Where do you practice?
I don't, so where I work is 3020 Market. My practice, you would have to contact me. Are you talking about my sex therapy, you know, or my intimate, my relationship therapy? That's
you know what, Miss Rosalind, she didn't specify. She's asking, are you talking about her sex therapy practice? You're talking about her intimate relallationship practice? What are we talking about here?
That's a whole other thing. And when I look at it's broad. It's not just. Well, that's a whole nother story.
Well, Dr. Kennebrew, we're going to get cut off. So what I'm going to do, no, but I love you for coming. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You all so
much. I want you to come back. And you said it. You said you'll come back. So you look for us, Niall or I, either one of us, we're going to reach out to you to have you come back and talk with us some more. Okay.
Thank you so much, family. I really appreciate it. And you all enjoy the rest of your day. And I really appreciate it. Thank you for the love.
And you as well. They're sharing love in the comments. So thank you so much, Dr. Kennebrew. We will see you next time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Family. Oh my goodness. OMG. You know, I like to exhale. I'm getting into the habit of exhaling. As we close tonight. First of all, I want to say hi to my cousin June. Hey, June, I love you. I love you. I love you. You hear me? Hi to Cheryl. Cheryl is saying very interesting info. Thank you. You're so welcome. Malcolm, thank you. Thank you. He shares that it's a great show. So thank you. Family, praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Do you hear me? As we wrap tonight's episode, in doing so, I extend my utmost gratitude to you. I love you so much, but God loves you so much more. Do you hear me that? Do you hear me when I say that? To all of our callers, thank you. And to each and every one of you that contributed via our socials, thank you too. To all of our guests, again, for sharing time, energy, space, spirit, attention, and information with us. Thank you to the entire WURD family. I hope I'm going to see you, family, tomorrow at Founders Day. To those of you that can make it, to those of you that cannot come, I know I will see you in love. I know I will. Thank you to Niall Jax, Nick Steptoe, family. We're all in this together. You hear me? So you be good to you, but you also be good to those around you. Please, please, please have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend. Don't forget, you can see me with Will Downing in Paterson, New Jersey on Saturday. But be sure to join me, God willing, here Monday through Thursday of next week, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Good night, y'all. I love you.